Greetings, dear viewers. I'm George from Ireland on Balcombe Street in London. So, for 6 days in December 1975, this was perhaps the most famous address in London because this is where the Balcombe Street siege took place. At 22B, that flat, if I got it correct, it's it's the first floor on that side. Fortunately, because of the sunshine, there's a bit of a glare off it. So the Ulster conflict was raging, and the IRA had an active service unit, ASU, here, several men who were going around attacking exclusively civilian targets, setting off bombs as much as they could, shooting up restaurants and things like that. So the McWhirter twins were the men who founded the Guinness Book of World Records, and they put out a reward saying anyone who gives information leading to the arrest of these bombers will get a very hefty reward. So the Balcombe Street gang decided they couldn't tolerate that, so they left a bomb outside one of the McWhirter twins' houses, but it didn't kill him. It killed this very distinguished Australian doctor who lived next door. So what's next about the Balcombe Street gang? Well, the police observed a pattern that they did not go out was any precipitation. And it being December, there was quite a lot of that, so there were not many days when they were out and about. So the centre of London had plenty of police officers in plain clothes. So the undercover police officers there to respond very fast if the IRA got up to anything. Anyway, so these IRA men, they opened fire on Scott's restaurant, if I've got that right, but they were pursued. Then they shot at some unarmed police, but the police gallantly continued to give chase. So the IRA panicked, and they happened to be running around here, and they got into this flat more or less at random. There's a couple there. They took them hostage. So it was obviously a very harrowing ordeal for the old couple in the flat with them for 6 days. And pretty soon the Balcombe Street gang was surrounded by armed police, and there was no way out. The SAS came along. The Balcombe Street gang, they correctly surmised that the security forces would put listening devices very close to them. So the gang cunningly made up several names and used false names for each other to give the impression that there were more men in the flat than there really were. Therefore, the security forces would be more reluctant to raid it, thinking more people are going to get killed, the hostages are almost certainly going to get killed. So the Balcombe Street gang were initially demanding a helicopter then to be allowed to fly to Ireland. There's no other way they're going to get that. So the Crown forces were very adept with dealing with hostage situations, knowing to delay, never to speak directly to commander, try and make the people tranquil such that they don't just kill the hostages. I mean, first of all, you'd like the hostages out unharmed. Second of all, you like these guys arrested. Failing that, they'd have to be killed. You really don't want to let them get away scot-free. But as soon as they actually harm one of the hostages, then you've got to go in before more of them are harmed or they were killed, indeed. So the police, they carefully leaked disinformation to the BBC, knowing that people in here were listening on the radio or was even watching television to try and find out what the situation was. But after 6 days, the gang surrendered. So it was a victory for the Crown forces. The hostages had come out unharmed. The terrorists had all given themselves up, and none of the security forces was harmed in this operation. So a total success in that sense. The Balcombe Street gang, they got very long sentences for their multiple crimes. But at their trial, they tried to say that the Guildford 4 and the Maguire 7, the various people were wrongfully convicted of IRA offences. Now, why would that be credible? We now know that it is credible, that these convictions were wrongful. The Guildford 4, the Maguire 7, the Birmingham 6, they were innocent. But the Balcombe Street gang didn't actually say, and we're the ones who did it. But at the time, these people obviously had no credibility after all the crimes they'd committed. And the other thing is, it could have been just them trying to release other IRA members to carry on attacks elsewhere. So this didn't have any evidential value. So they were released in 1998 under the terms of the Good Friday Agreement. There was a Sinn Fein Ardèche as in conference in 1998 in Dublin. It was held at the Royal Dublin Society, if I've got that right. And these men had been given like a 24-hour release by Blair, and they went to the conference, so they were cheered to the rafters by Sinn Fein, who were delighted with all the English civilians that these people had killed. So that did help the Sinn Fein conference vote for the Good Friday Agreement by something like a 95% margin. The rest would have gone on to be dissident Republicans, Republican Sinn Fein and its various terrorist wings like the real IRA, the new IRA, the continuity IRA, whatever you wish to call itself. So there we are, part of a rather unhappy chapter of London's history, and at least 10% of London's population was of Irish descent at the time, and obviously there was considerable hibernophobia as a result of this, because English people were saying, well, how do we know that you're not going to plant a bomb on us, and so on, and thinking that some Irish people were sympathetic towards the IRA, which is true, some were, others had mixed feelings, but others realised obviously how horrific the IRA were, how they terrorised us in Ireland, as they did in people in Great Britain, how they were Anglophobic, anti-Protestant, totalitarian, just vicious. We really didn't need them. They're just as foul as their loyalist mirror image. Well, that's enough about the Balcombe Street gang.